ladies and gentlemen, welcome inside David S. Ingalls Rink for another evening of Yale men's ice hockey here on Yale All-Access. I'm Max Valenstein, joined here by Adlon Adams as the Bulldogs tonight take on the RPI Engineers, who made the trip down from Troy, New York yesterday. Well, Adlon, the Bulldogs are coming off a big 4-3 victory against Brown last weekend. Why don't you take us through some of the finer points of that matchup against the Bears?
Of course, Max. So Yale came out with the win 4-3 against Brown. Going into the first period, Yale went down quickly 14 minutes into the game. Brown was up 2-0. Lagunier came in late in the third to put it away on the power play, assisted by Young and Ruffalo. Early on in the second period, Matt Harlow of Brown scored on the power play, putting Brown up 3-1. The Bulldogs then banged in 3 more goals in the second period on the power play, coming from Agostino, Miller, and Lagunier. Yale's upperclassmen really stepping up on the power play in that game. The third period went scoreless as a result of the power play. Yale is now ranked number 8 nationally with a 23% conversion rate.
Well, certainly a fantastic evening for the Bulldogs. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from last weekend's matchup against Brown, put together by our assistant producer, Daniel Stern. Yale takes on the Brown Bears, who made the trip down from Providence, Rhode Island on I-95 today for tonight's game.
Over to Robertson, shot and goal for the Brown Bears in the first period here. Off of defense, shot and score for Brown. That was Sayers off a rebound, right? Another wraparound shot by Lagunier, score for the Bulldogs.
Oh boy.
To Laredo, shot and score for Brown. Another Agostino, shot and score for the Bulldogs. Kenny Agostino. For a shot and score for the Bulldogs. Andrew Miller coming up big on the power play. Lagunier coming out from around the top of the circle. Shot and score for the Bulldogs. Antoine Lagunier, another great shot on the power play. And the Bulldogs will win 4-3 against Brown. 4-game win streak now for the Bulldogs.
It wasn't always pretty. The Bulldogs fell down early. It's a 4-3 win for Yale. 2 important points in the ECAC standings. It's early on, but those points are going to count come. Well, absolutely. All of those points will certainly matter come the end of the year when teams are vying for spots in the ECAC standings. Well, the Bulldogs this weekend have another opportunity to pick up crucial points in the conference standings as they welcome in RPI tonight, Union tomorrow. Both of those games will be here on Yale All-Access, free this entire weekend and all season. Well, tonight, Adlon, the Bulldogs welcome in RPI, a squad that's struggled for the most part early on this year, but in their most recent games, they begin to put things together a little bit. 2-1-1 in their most recent games, despite coming in with a 3-6-3 record overall this year.
Yeah, and in the overall series against Yale, stretching back to 1908, RPI leads 51-38-6. Last year, the team split the wins, the visitors winning both. Malcolm up in Troy had 27 saves with a shutout, and Balch and Bourbonnais went up for the tallies for the Bulldogs. At home, we outshot the Engineers 48-16, but the Engineers ended up winning 2-1. Kind of a rough game for the Bulldogs. Absolutely.
Last year here at Ingalls, some could say that the RPI Engineers stole that game from the Bulldogs. And going back a year before that, 2 years ago, both the teams split the standings. Well, this RPI squad, led offensively by Jacob Laliberte, he centers their top line, and Nick Balin, a senior right defenseman who's one of the top point producers for this team. They're coming in. They haven't done too well this year in terms of scoring, just averaging a shade over 2 goals per game. But as you mentioned, Adlon, they've always been a thorn in the side of this Bulldogs team, even here at Ingalls Rink, where they've won 2 of the last 3 games. One note of interest is that for RPI tonight at night, we'll see Jason Kasdorf, freshman and Winnipeg Jets draft pick. Several goaltenders have occupied the pipes this year for the RPI Engineers, and Kasdorf, a freshman who's shown significant promise so far, is going to get the start. Well, we're going to take the time now to look at the interview I had earlier this afternoon when I caught up with Coach Elaine before tonight's game. This is Max Valenstein here for Yale All-Access ringside with Yale head coach Keith Elaine. Coach, your team battled back to pick up a 4-3 win after falling down a 2-0 hole against Brown last week. What do you take away from the way your team played and battled back?
Well, I thought we played well all game long. I actually thought we were playing pretty well even though we fell behind. But I think our guys understand that if they stick with the system and they keep working at it, that we'll have success.
One thing that's really been successful as of late is your power play, scoring huge goals out in the road trip out west, the winning goal against Denver, tying against Colorado College, and then 4 goals last weekend against Brown. In your eyes, why has that unit been so successful?
Well, you're seeing contributions from different guys, first of all. But, with a power play, you have to take what's available. And the good power plays recognize what's available, then they have the ability to make that play. And we're starting to see things better, finding the open guy, and he's pulling the trigger.
Coach, with 3 games coming up in the next 5 days, conditioning is obviously going to become important as we enter the holiday season here. How do you feel about your team's conditioning and fitness so far this year?
I feel great about our conditioning and fitness. I think we have the best strength coach in all of college hockey. Our guys make a huge commitment in that part of the game. You know, we play an up-tempo game where we have to skate, and in order to do that, we have to be in tip-top shape, and our guys are.
Coach, tonight your team welcomes in RPI, who's battled well against you, even here at Ingalls, where they've won 2 of the last 3 head-to-head matchups. What do they do well?
Well, they play with great speed. They pressure the puck well, and they've always gotten good goaltending, particularly against us, and I think you'll see the same tonight.
Coach, who should our viewers look out for tonight on RPI?
Well, their top line, which is centered by a gentleman named Laliberti, is their best offensive player. They've got a defenseman named Balin who's got 4 goals from the point, and then, as I said, their goaltending will be strong.
Great, Coach. What does Yale need to do to win tonight?
We have to establish our game early and play it relentlessly shift after shift.
Great. Thank you, Coach.
My pleasure.
That was Yale head coach Keith Elaine. Welcome back live into David S. Ingalls Rink. Well, the Bulldogs look to continue their winning ways here at home in New Haven, coming off a 4-game win streak into tonight's game. The Bulldogs picking up a big win at home over St. Lawrence a couple weekends back, winning that contest 4-2. On the road at Denver University, 2-1 winners, 6-5. One night later, against Colorado College. And just this past Saturday, the Bulldogs picking up a big 4-3 win at home over Brown.
And now looking at the starting lineups for both teams, it looks like the Engineers will be starting Tenorti, Schroeder, and Lee up top. In the back, they'll have Leonard and Balin with Kastorf in net. For the Bulldogs, we have Malcolm joined by Duick and Obuchowski. Puck now coming out of the Engineers zone. Schroeder finding Tenorti here on the far side. Coming in hot into the zone. Duick on his tail. Throw out to Tenorti. Shot and save by Malcolm.
Oh, already there, a bit of trouble for the Bulldogs as both Ruffalo and Duick got trapped down there in the corner. 2 defensemen on 1 RPI forward that left an Engineer open in the slot there for a quick shot on Malcolm. He stood tall, got big in the net, made the save there, but dangerous opportunity leaving a guy open in the slot early on there.
The Bulldogs will get a wholesale change, putting out their top line of Miller, Root, and Agostino. O'Gara and Young on defense. Root will take the face-off for the Bulldogs. He gets sent out. Miller now in. This face-off dot. Puck won back by the Engineers, Laliberte. Their point leader. Root goes down on his own blue line. Thrown back in by Laliberte, wrapped around behind the net, picked up by Haggerty. Haggerty coming in the corners. O'Gara pokes it off his stick. O'Gara and Root in the corner. Root comes out with the puck behind his own net, loses an edge, shovels it up to Miller on the sideboard, who flips out of the zone. Caught on the blue line.
And we are going to get the offsides call there from our linesmen tonight. Well, the officials for tonight's game, referees Scott Whittemore and Jean-Yves Roy will be joined by linesmen Philip Kitchen and Joe Testa.
Another line change for the Bulldogs. Cooper on the face-off, 1 back to Fallon. Fallon over to defense partner Whittick. Bulldogs gain the zone. Going deep into the corner, Lagunier gets hit. It's a scuffle. Both teams fighting hard for the puck. Cooper gets in there as well. Coming out with the puck is LeBuff. Ruffalo stopping the offensive charge on the red line. LeBuff with the puck over to Bradley. Bradley shoots it up the boards. Goes past Fallon. That'll be an icing call. Nice job by Yale breaking up the play in the neutral zone and not allowing the Engineers into their own end.
I'm just looking to see which line the Bulldogs are going to put out to take advantage. And as I would have guessed, the top offensive unit of Agostino, Root, and Miller is going to come out here, try and pin these RPI defenders deep in their zone.
Puck won back by Miller to Fallon. Fallon over to Wittick. Wittick with a shot on the ice. Goes off the stick of a defender. Puck wrapped around the boards. Get past Fallon now. RPI looking for a shot. And that will be a penalty on the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Marty O'Grady dragged down there by Kenny Agostino as O'Grady found himself with some space, maybe a good 30, 40 feet out of Jeff Malcolm's net. Agostino yanked him down as he got himself open there before he could get a shot away. So the Bulldogs now are going to go shorthanded for the first time tonight.
Wilson taking the faceoff for the Bulldogs, won back by RPI. Puck in the corner with Laliberte, passes it back to his point. Looking for a shot is Balin, RPI's top scoring defenseman. Puck in front of the net, shot back out of the crease by Wilson. Puck behind the net, picked up by Young, right into Haggerty. Haggerty with a shot well over the bar.
Unfortunately for the Bulldogs, that one it went out. They're going to have a chance to regroup and settle down here. Gus Young with a dangerous backhand clearing attempt. Gave the RPI Engineers a shot from a good 10 feet out, wide open. With some quick numbers for the power play on stats. RPI 14.3% effective this year, good for 39th nationally. Yale 86.8% effective on the kill, 16th in the NCAA.
Shot by Balin, stopped by the stick of his own teammate Lee. Fallon in the corner with Lee. Two Engineers on the puck as it goes out to the point. Little Booth tipped into the corner by Fallon. Fallon up to Bourbonnais with a nice move around his defender. Finding Dewick in the neutral zone. Dewick passes back to Lagunier, who whiffs on the shot, easily pushed away by Kastorf.
I think Bourbonnais was surprised there to see the developing odd man opportunity for the Bulldogs. He looked up. He thought he was just going to send that puck down deep into the RPI zone, but had he realized sooner, he could have had a 3-on-1 there for Yale.
About a minute left to kill for the Bulldogs as Tenori tries to get a shot off. Blocked by Miller's stick. Young trying to shoot it out of his own into the body of Haggerty. Young very aggressive on the penalty kill, back on defense. Puck shot into the slot, gloved down by Miller now, who gains the neutral zone, trying to tip it around Leonard. Leonard uses his body to get in the way of Miller's advances. Leonard now skating out of his own end over the red line. Leonard again into the Bulldogs end. Young with a hard hit, shot back out. 15 seconds left to kill for the Bulldogs.
Oh, a great hit by Young there to separate the puck carrier from the puck. Allowed O'Gara plenty of time to just fling that puck all the way deep down into RPI's end.
Very smart play on defense. The Bulldogs will now go up even strength with the Engineers. Got some tricky stick work over there by Zalewski. He's taken out by Ruffalo. Wittick picks the puck up. Wilson trying to chip it out of the zone, is stopped by Dolan. RPI using their defense to work together as Dolan comes through the neutral zone. Shot into the Bulldogs and Malcolm comes out of his net to pick it up. Bourbonnais up to Ruffalo. Through the neutral zone, banking it off the boards up to Lagunier. Into RPI's end. Quick turnaround here as RPI looks for an offensive opportunity. Shot and save off the pad of Malcolm. Another shot off the skate of a Yale defender. Bourbonnais going back down into the corner. Backhands it over to Dewick, who loses an edge. Schroeder now picks up the puck. Schroeder trying to turn away from pressure as Dewick comes close to his back. Shot and into the netting.
Well, if you're Yale coach Keith Lane here, you look for your team to have a little more situational awareness early on. Moments ago on the penalty kill, we saw Bourbonnais didn't know his team could have developed a 3-on-1 there had he moved a little quicker on that play. And going back there defensively, their teams were skating 2-on-2, but Johnny Rajic for RPI just turned on the Jets and almost turned it into a 3-on-2 for RPI. Yale needs to stay on top of their game to prevent those odd man situations.
Puck shot behind Yale's net as Fallon struggles to gain possession. Now picked up by Miller for RPI. Out to the point, Leonard shot well wide of the net. Picked up again by Zalewski. Over to Leonard, shot over the glove of Malcolm. Puck in the corner now, Wittick fighting, goes behind Bulldogs net. Picked up by Day, who leaves it for Wilson on the boards. Wilson trying to get past Bubala. Wilson now in the corner with Miller. Beatty trying to cycle back to Wilson, who has 2 players on him. Puck now over to team captain Andrew Miller as he shoots. Another shot by Beatty off the chest pad of Kasdorf.
And that's going to be a call right there.
Charmy Fallon shakes his head at the referee.
Yeah, Fallon thought he did a good job there playing the puck handler as he dumped it in. Instead, through that hip there, he's going to sit 2 minutes for tripping. Going back just a second, I like what Andrew Miller did there. He's carrying the puck out from behind the net. I have to imagine everyone in the building expected a passer as good as Andrew Miller to try and send that out to someone in the slot. But he did a smart thing and worked his way out in front of the net on his own and tried to go upstairs on Kasdorf.
Miller and Root will take the top of the box on the penalty kill for the Bulldogs. Valverde shoots it back deep into the Bulldogs, and Root clears it out of the zone, giving the Bulldogs a switch here on the penalty kill.
Well, Bulldogs already 1 for 1 on the PK tonight. One thing of note, RPI has really struggled within conference play on the power play. They're now 1 for 31 in ECAC matchups, counting tonight's first unsuccessful power play bid.
Definitely not a great ratio on a man-up advantage. Shot back into RPI's end. Minute 22 left to kill for the Bulldogs. Balch and Wilson now taking the ice. Puck up to Tenorti, who passes it back to Higgs. Now over to Balin. Shot by Balin right off the pad of Malcolm. Trickled into the paint as Duick shoots it back out.
I think that one might have gone wide had it gotten the chance to roll, but a great job by Colin Duick there with the active stick to just get on that puck and not even leave it to chance. Send it all the way down.
Less than a minute left to kill for the Bulldogs as Obuchowski clears it out. Bradley picks it up behind his own net, looking for an outlet as he decides to skate the puck up the ice over to Leonard. Leonard dumps it in as Malcolm comes out to corral it for Young. Young using the glass, tries to get around Leonard. Back to Tenorti. Finds Zalewski in the slot, shot just wide of the net. O'Gara clearing it out up to Bourbonnais right on his stick. 2-on-2 here, Bourbonnais and Cooper. Bourbonnais sending it in deep for Cooper. Puck picked up by Zalewski as he gains the blue line, looking to pass to his teammate, but is intercepted by Root, chipping off the glass up to Miller. Root goes down as Curardi now picks up the puck. Over to LeBuff. Up to Fulton on the red line, who skates it over the blue line, through the slot, misses sticks of his teammates. Agostino now with the offensive rush. Bulldogs are now full strength. Over to Miller. Miller to Duick, backhand just over the corner of the net. Agostino picks it up again, trying to find Wilson. Wilson with a shot off the skate of Curardi. Back up to the point now, Obukowski over to Duick. Duick with a shot, another block off a skate, goes right over the slot. Wilson looking for Miller. Agostino in the corner, puck now chipped out by RPI, stopped by Duick.
Well, this is the first real good sequence the Bulldogs have shown today offensively.
Picked up by Curardi, who shoots it up the ice. That'll be an icing call back into the Engineers' end.
And this RPI unit was penned in their own zone there for quite some time. A lot of good work that started out on that rush there with Miller, Agostino, and Root coming up the ice together, and the Bulldogs just kept them in there the whole time.
Bulldogs can really use that to their advantage and tire out the Engineers over time. Face-off won by Bourbonnais, shot by Lagunier, goes back into the corner. Lagunier just chipped off the boards to Ruffalo, picked up by LaBeouf. LaBeouf up over to Fulton. Fulton skating, chips it in to the Bulldogs' end. Wittick now with the puck up to Ruffalo, but is stopped on the boards. Haggerty now with the puck on the near side. RPI working with their defense. Leonard with a hit. Wittick now in the corner, trying to find his defensive partner. Picked up by Laberte into the crease. Malcolm with the save. Balin picks it up, shoots it back in. Wittick trying to get it away from his own net as he wraps it around the boards. Over in the corner, Laliberte cycles it back to defenseman Balin. Now behind the net, into the slot. Malcolm goes down. Looks like he lost his stick there for a second. Shot out of the zone by Fallon. Leonard now picks it up off the boards over to Haggerty. Beatty coming off the bench, picks that pass off. Fallon gains control over to Day. Day with the shot blocked by the stick of Leonard. And RPI's net goes off.
And we'll get a whistle here, yeah, for the net being dislodged there behind freshman goaltender Jason Kasdorf. Well, one thing RPI has really looked good doing tonight so far, they've really worked that pass from behind Jeff Malcolm's net out front to their advantage. That was a great look there a moment ago from Laliberte. He almost found Haggerty in front of the net there to go up high over Malcolm's shoulder.
Puck back behind RPI's net. Zalewski off the boards up to Miller, who's hit by Beatty. Puck cycled back by Day over to Cooper. So the game gets a little more physical here in the first period. Dumped into Yale's zone, thrown on net, and Malcolm decides to hold on to that puck for a whistle.
Mark Miller there, freshman from Masson in New York, cruising in on Malcolm's net. Jeff just didn't want to take the risk to dump that one down there and have it penned within their zone. He'd rather have the opportunity to have his team change, take the whistle, though I'm sure he would prefer not to freeze the puck in that situation.
The draw is won back to Dolan on defense. Root up to Agostino. Agostino finds Miller. Miller with a shot and just off the pad of Kasdorf. Picked up by Agostino. Another shot. Looks like it was off the side of the net now. Root cycles back to Agostino. Agostino challenged hard by Bradley. That will be a delayed penalty holding.
Yeah, it's going to be holding there on Bradley. So the Bulldogs now are going to get a chance to show off that power play that's been so wonderful the past several games. As you know, we mentioned, as I discussed with Coach Elaine before today's game, 2 big goals on the power play on that weekend out west in Colorado, and 4 goals, all 4 goals scored on the power play last Saturday night against Brown.
And Yale's seasoned power play unit of Root, Lagunier, Agostino, Miller, and Fallon will take the ice. Miller wins it back, goes through his defenseman as Agostino and Fallon retreat into their own zone, looking for a regroup.
Well, the Bulldogs here, 28.3% of effective throughout the year and good for number 8 nationally on the power play.
Miller with a long shot from the red line, trying to catch Kasdorf. Unaware, puck goes back into the Bulldogs' end.
RPI struggled a bit on the penalty kill, 79.6% effective, 43rd in the NCAA thus far this year.
We're trying to backhand it over to Lagunier. Fallon holding the blue line, back to Agostino. Agostino cycles back to Lagunier. Lagunier over to Miller on the point. Miller backdoor to Agostino, who shoots wide of the net on a one-timer. Lagunier picks it up on the far side. Miller now over to Fallon, who holds the blue line. Tight call there by the referee.
He had the blue line on his first touch, but the second one carried it just over the line. He tried to dump it back in quickly to see if he could get away with linesman Joe Testa not noticing that one, but no such luck. So the second power play unit out now with 1:10 remaining in this man advantage for the Bulldogs.
This looks like a power play unit we haven't seen too much of. Weberg, Wilson, and Ruffalo. Wilson at center for the Bulldogs. Young with the puck up to Ruffalo. Ruffalo trying to find Wilson or Weberg, but is cleared out by RPI. Young over to O'Gara. Just under a minute left on the power play for the Bulldogs. Ruffalo gets it deep into the zone for Wilson and Weberg to chase down. O'Gara over to Young. Young skates, shot, and just off the pad of Kasdorf. RPI getting another break as they get off the ice. Back into the Bulldogs, and Young shoots it up to Miller. Miller going through the neutral zone. Slides over to Root. Root over to Agostino. Agostino loses it to LaBeouf. Picked up by Fallon. 20 seconds left on the power play for the Bulldogs. Dolan with the puck. Slap shot out of his own end. Stopped by Miller. Miller looking for an outlet. Trying to find Root or Bourbonnais on the blue line. Goes deep into RPI's end. Fallon holds the blue line over to Root. Root trying to get a shot of a stop by LaBeouf, who's very aggressive on penalty kill. And RPI is now even strength with the Bulldogs. Agostino trying to get around over to Bourbonnais. Shot and off the pipe as Kasdorf goes down on his back.
Oh, you can see Kenny Agostino looking skyward after that one. Bourbonnais, a great wrist shot, dead out in the slot. Looks like he just banged it off the pipe to the left of Kasdorf, and you saw the puck ricochet off, bounce off Kasdorf's back, and just lay there in the paint. But Kasdorf, smart thing, gets down on it, lays down Snow Angel style on the puck, and traps it beneath himself. And we stay scoreless here. 7:17 left to go in the first.
I really like the way they set up that triangle there, Max, on that play. They're passing back and forth from the sides of the net into the slot. Really effective against this team.
I've seen some good passing these past couple minutes here from the Bulldogs on that power play too.
Draw one to Haggerty, up to Rajic, who throws it into the end. He gets hit off the side of his own bench now, up to Cooper. Cooper in the neutral zone to Ruffalo. Ruffalo to Lagunier, right on the blue line. Lagunier with a nice shot right into the pads of Kasdorf. What a great move by Lagunier.
Oh, the freshman Kasdorf unintimidated by Yale senior there, Antoine Lagunier coming in. He did not budge, or he did not bite at all on Lagunier's move to the forehand, trying to bring that one up top. Just stood tall in his net and made the save. Kasdorf, big goaltender, 6'4", occupies a lot of that net.
Wilson on the faceoff for the Bulldogs. RPI wins it over to Balin, their top scoring defenseman with 4 goals and 6 assists so far this season. O'Gara off the boards up to Weberg. Schroeder holding the blue line for RPI. Glove down by Young. Young wrapping around the boards up to Balch. Balch through the neutral zone. I mean, free skate as he gets a shot and saved by Kasdorf. Wilson over to Balch, picked up by RPI. As Tenorti now coming down the ice. Over to Dolan, shot and saved by Malcolm, leaving a big rebound on that one. Lee coming around the back, and another whiff on the shot as Wilson finally gets it out of the end for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, the Bulldogs need to be sure to clear all those rebounds out. CJ Lee there, a great opportunity, the senior captain for RPI.
Picked up by Fallon and score! What a shot by Fallon. He came right in, intercepted that puck right on the blue line, just teed up top corner.
That was a great wrist shot there from Tommy Fallon. As you said, he just read that pass, jumped in the passing lane, and wasted no time letting it fly on Kasdorf's net. 6 minutes remaining in the first period here. We're 14 minutes old. It's 1-0 Yale, jumping ahead to the early lead. And those matter. RPI this year, no wins in games when the opponents score first, 0-4-1.
Agostino, Root, and Miller back on the ice for the Bulldogs. Face off one back to Wittick, over to Fallon. Fallon trying to shoot it in. Goes back to Fallon. Up to Agostino. Agostino over the blue line. Nice move to Miller. Miller across the slot to Root, who goes down with a defenseman. What a pass by Miller. Agostino with a nice hit. Back to Miller. Miller and Root trying to get some offense going.
And now we'll get a penalty call on RPI. I think the Ingalls faithful here wanted it the first time around. And then Agostino gave a great retaliatory shot there. all within the rules of the game, of course, but it's Brock Higgs who's going to sit 2 minutes for a cross-check, I believe, there, giving the Bulldogs their second power play opportunity of the night and a fantastic chance to augment that 1-goal lead.
We have the second power play unit out for the Bulldogs. Wilson wins it back to O'Gara. O'Gara to Ruffalo, shot off the skate of Young. Scramble in front of the net as Kasdorf puts his glove down over the puck. O'Gara and Young working together on the point, trying to draw the puck into the center of the ice, get a nice angle on the shot as the forwards are now screening on this power play. Draw one back to Balin, slap shot around the boards. O'Gara almost gets there to keep it in the zone. Young with the puck, skating out of his own end over to O'Gara. O'Gara off the boards, picked up by Balin, who shoots it around just off the stick of Young. Lee, Malcolm coming way out of his net to challenge Lee.
Dangerous there as Lee got his stick on that one, managed to knock it down too.
Going up to Ruffalo, cross-ice pass to Wilson, trying to get a move through his skates. Wilson back to Weberg. Weberg up to Miller on the point, Miller to Fallon. Back to Miller, over to Lagunier, looking for Wilson in the slot, just off the skate of Dolan. Miller again with the puck. Back to Lagunier in the corner, back over to Miller. Miller to Fallon. Fallon with a shot, tip by Root, cleared out by RPI. Just under a minute left on the power play for the Bulldogs. Their #1 unit now out on the ice as Miller goes through the neutral zone, finds the stick of Root. Root with a shot just off the blocker of Kasdorf. Agostino trying to get the rebound as he goes down hard into the boards. Miller to Fallon. Fallon to Lagunier. Intercepted by Balin as Miller tries to hold the zone. RPI trying to kill time in the neutral zone as Day now comes out on the power play. Agostino over to Fallon. Fallon with a shot saved by Kasdorf. Lee clears it out of the slot area. Agostino goes down. There will be another delayed penalty. Dewick over to Fallon as Malcolm comes out of his net.
Agostino taken down there from behind by junior defenseman Guy LaBeouf for RPI. It looks like he just got his, battling for the puck there on the corner, just got his, well, the officials are going to call a cross-check. From my view here, it looked more like LaBeouf got his stick tangled in between Agostino's skates and just brought him down, caused him to lose his edge there. Either way, another power play opportunity for Yale. They're going to have 3 seconds here of 5-on-3, perhaps a chance to win the draw and set something up, and a minute 57 of 5-on-4.
Wilson on the faceoff for the Bulldogs. Back in the corner to Dolan as the Bulldogs are now only up 1 man, 5-on-4 for the next minute and 50 seconds. O'Gara with the puck, looking for a regroup on the power play up to Ruffalo. Ruffalo over the blue line, chips it to Weberg. Weberg and Leonard in the corner. Ruffalo helping him out. RPI coming out of their own end. Miller with the clear. Young shoots it up to Lagunier coming right off the bench. Lagunier over the red line, over the blue line. Shot back to Fallon in the Bulldogs' end. Fallon skating up the ice. Finds Agostino over to Root. Root coming in, tries to slide it over to Miller, hits his skate. Miller loses the puck in the corner. As it is shot out to Schroeder. Schroeder now skating. Shoots the puck over the glove of Fallon. Fallon challenged by Rajic. Puck now back up to Miller. Miller over the blue line, over to Agostino. Agostino backhand, looking for Miller on the back door. It's about 48 seconds left as Miller now looks for another shot just over the crossbar. Fallon picks up the rebound off the glass. Agostino tried to float it up to Miller, but Miller wasn't able to glove it down. Miller back to Lagunier.
Oh, the Bulldogs got caught up in a bad change there as they were halfway interchanged between their first and second power play units when Antoine Lagunier touched the puck near the bench, and the officials quick to jump on Yale for the 6 men on the ice call there. Looks like Coach Keith Lane in his 7th season is going to send Kenny Agostino to the box to serve the penalty. So we'll have 32 seconds of 4-on-4 play here, and at that point when Guy LaBeouf's penalty expires, RPI will get another minute 28 on the man advantage. 2:10 left here in the first.
Bourbon and Ruffalo at the top of the box for the Bulldogs, joined by Dewick and Obkowski. Obkowski over to Ruffalo. Ruffalo tried to chip it out past Bradley. Bradley stops it, shoots it into the slot to Bubella. Bourbon back to Obkowski. Obkowski off the boards. Dewick now behind his own net. This challenged by Bubella. Puck in the corner, Dewick challenging Bubella. Bubella comes out with possession, chips it around the boards to Zalewski. RPI is now up 5-on-4 on the power play. Obkowski whiffs on the clear. Zalewski now with the puck, backhands it right in front of Yale's goal. Puck goes right past Malcolm's stick. Bourbonnais now with the puck finds Ruffalo at center ice. Ruffalo dumps it in for the Bulldogs. 1 minute left to kill on the penalty. Coming off his own end is Laliberte. Skating around looking for a pass as Balch stops him. Balch and Wilson now out on the penalty kill. Balch holds it against the boards, trying to kill some time. Puck now over to Higgs as RPI looks for an offensive rush. Higgs dumps it in for Haggerty. Haggerty and O'Gara behind the net. Puck back up to Balin. Balin looking for a shot blocked by Wilson's skate. Coming back around the net. RPI over to Balin. Shot and, blocked by Wilson. Balin again with the puck. So another shot. Yale again not allowing anything on net. Balin coming off the boards with the puck. Shot and save by Malcolm. Haggerty now in the corner behind the net. 10 seconds left to kill. Puck through the slot. Balch with the clear. The clock runs down. The Bulldogs will now be even strength with the Engineers. We now have his own end. Dewick with a hard hit at center ice. Puck up to Agostino. Shot by Agostino. Saved by Kasdorf.
I think that shot came just after the whistle there, so the Bulldogs shot count's going to hold unofficially at 10 shots through this first period. RPI put 8 shots unofficially on Jeff Malcolm's net. He met the challenge on all 8 opportunities. 9 saves on 10 shots for Jason Kasdorf of the RPI Engineers. Well, we're going to head into our break here for our first intermission in just a moment here, and I'll have the opportunity when we come back to chat with Yale Sports Information Director Steve Kahn. So stay tuned, hockey fans. Welcome back inside David S. Ingalls Rink. I'm Max Valenstein, joined here by Yale Sports Information Director Steve Kahn here during our first intermission report. Well, Steve, another fantastic night of hockey here at David S. Ingalls Rink. I know I've been looking forward to it all week. How do you think this game's gone so far for this Yale squad?
Well, I give RPI a lot of credit tonight. They're really doing a great job of forechecking, and it made it very difficult for Yale to break out and put a lot of shots on net. Yale did an excellent job overcoming some of that later on in the period, but it was quite a period. And Tommy Fallon with a great play to get the one goal.
Well, absolutely. That was a fantastic wrist shot there from Tommy Fallon, just picking it up, being aware of the space and the time he had around him, you know, not looking for teammates in that case and just letting it fly, going top corner. Fantastic shot, reminiscent of some of the shots we've seen from Yale greats Brian O'Neill in recent memory, who could shoot like that.
I think the hardest part of that play, though, is the anticipation. He's looking at that, thinking the pass is going to be coming. He steps in front of the RPI forward and just comes in alone and has that shot in the high slot. So pretty shot, nice snap shot, went low inside the left post. Quite a pretty goal. Not a shot that any goalie can really get a glove on.
Oh, no, not much you can do there, especially as you mentioned with the anticipation and Fallon just picking that puck up and firing it away right away, not giving Kasdorf much time to react. Well, you mentioned the strong play of RPI early on here. One thing I was impressed with was really their use of the space behind the net, especially on the power play. It seems to me they've done a fantastic job of moving the puck around, and when they've had that man advantage, looking for that pass from behind Jeff Malcolm's net out into the slot to generate some opportunities.
Sure, and they were very feisty about it too. They did not give Yale much space to clear the puck. They came back and pulled pucks back and were very feisty. You know what, that says a lot about this league. You know, they're looking for their first ECAC win this year. It says a lot about the league. There's a lot of parity, and on any given night, it's why they play the games, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's a charm to look at the ECAC standings, especially this year. I think outside of Quinnipiac, who's out to a fantastic start, they're 6-0 in conference play, 12 points there. Outside of them, I think you can probably put the next 10 teams in the ECAC all separated by a point or two. So it's certainly going to be a fantastic stretch run from a fan's perspective here as we gear into the second half of the season, the bulk of the ECAC schedule.
Certainly can't predict a whole lot when you look at the games. You know, with Clarkson beating St. Lawrence the other night, there's been a lot of upsets. Yes, Quinnipiac's hot. I guess nobody really picked them to be as good as they are right now. Things will even out when the balance of the league and the schedule and the games. But there's a lot of ECAC teams in the top 20 in the USCHO poll, and that's a good sign too.
Oh, absolutely. 6 teams ranked is fantastic for the conference. It's about time this conference has gotten its due recognition and not mocked as the easy AC within the national hockey scene. And that consistency for Yale, the ability to come in day out and give a good effort is going to be crucial for this team going forth in this season. I was speaking with Adlon before today's game about how we've seen what this Yale team is capable of. We've seen them play with the best, beat the best, and in some instances, when you look at that Denver game, really dominate some of the best teams in the country. But what we need to see going forward is whether this team's going to be able to bring that kind of intensity and effort and work ethic, on a day in, day out basis and get those results consistently.
Well, the reason you bring that up is an example is the Clarkson game, where you lose 1-0 at home on a big night, your first weekend at home in ECAC hockey, and you come up without a goal. This team that seems so talented offensively. So that's a good example right there. I think that you have to guard against things like that, especially when you're looking at Union coming in on Saturday. You have RPI, they're going in different directions, but it's still an ECAC game, still a league game. There aren't that many home games this year, there's only 12. So the guys are focused, and they take it like it's important tonight. So.
Well, it seems like the team has done a fantastic job in taking RPI seriously and taking them as a serious threat tonight. You know, you can say perhaps they looked past Clarkson a little bit. That was a very contested game. I don't want to put that upon Yale. But either way, with 3 games in 5 days, a talented Union team coming in tomorrow, and a Hockey East foe in Massachusetts on Tuesday, there's certainly a lot of hockey going on here, and it'd be easy for the Bulldogs to just get caught up in all of that and look past perhaps one individual game.
And for the fact that they may have gotten caught at some point in the recent past doing that will help them guard against having that happen again. I know their coaches are so focused on what's going on today, tonight's game. They're much more focused on that than looking ahead, so they won't be doing that.
And well, one thing that I know Coach Lane is very proud of with his team is the resiliency they've shown, the ability to bounce back. When coming back on the road against Colorado College just a couple of nights ago, against Brown, even so, if you look bigger picture, this team has not lost 2 consecutive games this year. They haven't gone winless in 2 consecutive games. The tie, they followed that up with a win. Both losses, they followed that up with wins. And that really speaks to just the mental toughness this team has. And as a fan, from the perspective of a fan, it's fantastic to see for such a team that is such a young core to really see them show that kind of maturity here early on.
Yeah, it's good senior leadership, and they've brought a lot of freshmen. Sometimes you have 6 freshmen on the ice, sometimes 3 up front and 3 back. You've got a lot of young people in the lineup who haven't experienced this kind of pressure before, but the seniors and juniors are doing such a good job in their leadership and getting them to understand how important it is and to take every shift so significantly and so importantly and place the emphasis on it, that it's really helped them tremendously in avoiding what you just said.
Well, speaking to those seniors who've really stepped up and solidified this year, you have to look at Jeff Malcolm, who's been tremendous when he's played in net this year. Do you think that Yale's found their guy for this season?
I'm not going to get caught saying that, because I know over the last 5 or 6 years I've seen situations where I thought, gee, someone is absolutely taking this job right now. They're showing how. And certainly he played very well in that first period, and he's played very well in many of the games this year. But it's always about what happens during the week in practice. It really is. So when you ask Coach Elaine that, I know everybody knows maybe he in the back of his mind, gee, he knows who's going to start in goal. But the truth is, he wants them to compete during the week, during practice, to determine who gets to play, which is the best way to do it.
Absolutely. Always an open tryout, something Coach Elaine's very fond of saying. Well, thank you for taking the time to stop in and talk with us. Let's take a look at some of those facts and figures from this first period of play here against RPI. So the Bulldogs jumped out in the shot total, leading thus far unofficially 10-8. That last shot there as the period expired did not count on the unofficial scoreboard. 9 saves for RPI netminder Jason Kasdorf. As we mentioned, Jeff Malcolm, all 8 shots he faced, he did save. Bulldogs doing a good job, or rather, RPI, doing a good job on the face-off dot, winning 13 of the 20 draws in the first period. That's something, if you're Yale, you really want to improve upon. Brown, when they jumped out to an early lead against Yale last weekend, they did a fantastic job on the face-off dot, really securing the puck. And that's something Yale needs to do a little better. Power play, they had 3 opportunities that first period. No conversions for either team. But when you speak to Yale and the success they've had on that power play, crucial to win draws and establish. When you have such fantastically talented offensive players, Miller, Lagunier, Agostino, Fallon, whatnot, all those guys can pass the puck and open up space so well. It's important that you just do the simple things, win the draws. So we'll welcome back Adlon to the booth. Addie, what did you see that first period from this Bulldogs team?
Well, I definitely saw a lot of energy after we scored that first goal. The Bulldogs are doing a really nice job of passing, as you said, really connecting well in the later half of the period in front of the net in the slot, using their points a lot. We've had a lot of nice interceptions by the Bulldogs as well. You saw Fallon on his goal, just came out of nowhere, read that play, got the puck.
Absolutely fantastic perspicacity there from Tommy Fallon to read into that play, jump into the passing lane, and have the right state of mind to just rip that puck on net over Kasdorf's shoulder. And of course, the raw talent for that kind of finish. That was just a beautiful snapshot high over Kasdorf's shoulder. Not much he could do about that there. And Fallon is, one of Yale's defensemen. Fantastic to see that kind of talent with the stick work from defensemen. We've known Fallon, at least we saw through his play last year, to have a big slap shot that he can unleash on that power play. Several times he scored last year with big slap shots from the boards there on the power play. But to show another element of his game there with that wrist shot, really remarkable.
I'd say one for the highlight reel, Max, and not to overlook Yale's defense. Jeff Malcolm, the senior goaltender, was recently ranked number 11 on the USCHO polls and a save percentage of .935. Miller now on the red line. Puck goes into the Bulldogs end as Root is shoved out of the way by an RPI player.
Well, so you mentioned there Malcolm, he's 11th nationally, as you mentioned, save percentage, 15th nationally in goals against, but within the ECAC play exclusively, his 1.33 goals against and 956 save percentage tops among all ECAC goaltenders so far this year.
Very solid net route over to Miller. Miller shot and saved by Kastorf. Miller trying to get a toe pull around the defenseman.
Yeah, Miller trying to draw Kastorf a little out of position there, but Kastorf didn't bite. He just did a good job, did a good thing in coming out of the net, really cutting down the amount of available net space Miller had. Mentioned several times already, as a big goaltender, Kastorf is going to take up a lot of that net. Bulldogs need to use some well-crafted passing plays to get those chances.
Miller back to O'Gara off the draw, trying to get a shot off. Agostino is blocked by RPI. Rajic coming through the neutral zone. O'Gara blocking the body. Young now behind the net. Skates out, looking for Miller off the skate of Miller. Coming back in. Laberte shot and save by Malcolm. Thrown back into Bulldogs end. Young trying to get it off the boards. Rajic looking for a backhand pass to Laliberte.
And he just couldn't keep that one in the zone there, so both teams going to get the opportunity to change here. Yale's taking off that line of Root, Agostino, and Miller and sending back out that second unit with Ruffalo, Lagunier, and Cooper.
LaBeouf with the puck, banks it off the boards to Higgs, goes back behind the net. Malcolm steps out. Puck goes between his legs as Cooper comes around the bottom of the circle, picking up over to Lagunier. Lagunier back to Cooper, looking for Whittick coming up on defense into the offensive rush. Again, with the puck, Fulton back behind the net. LaBeouf picks it up off the stick of Lagunier. Through the neutral zone, play read by Fallon as he now gains possession for the Bulldogs. Off the boards, up to Lagunier. Bradley goes down. Lagunier looking for Ruffalo on the far side, intercepted by RPI. Miller now into the zone, tipped by Fallon. Fallon bats it down over to Weberg. Fallon gets a hard hit, delayed penalty. Wilson over the blue line, stops, shot, and saved by Kastorf.
And that's going to be freshman Mark Miller there for RPI, who's going to go for the board on Fallon. Good to see Fallon skating okay there after that strong hit. Doesn't seem to have suffered any damage there. So the Bulldogs going to get their fourth power play opportunity on the night. 0 for 3 thus far, but each time they had the man advantage, they developed some good passing plays and carried some momentum coming out of those 2-minute advantages.
Root on the draw for the Bulldogs. One back to Agostino, back to Miller. Shot by Miller, looking for Fallon on the back door, who skated down from the point. Agostino chips it into the slot. RPI shooting it down the ice to Malcolm.
Hitting from behind there, the call on Miller. How that differs from boarding, I don't know exactly, but either way, 2 minutes for Bulldogs on the power play.
Fallon gains the zone over to Agostino. Agostino shot off the pad of Castro. Another shot goes into the middle as it goes wide of the net. Back up off the boards to Miller. Miller looking for Agostino's stick for a tip. Agostino controlling puck over to Lagunier. Lagunier looking for a one-timer. Back behind the net, picked up by Lagunier. Banks off the boards to Miller. Miller to Agostino. Agostino in front of the net. Leonard shoots it out off the skate of Miller.
Well, several times the Bulldogs look like they've just been a little bit off with those one-timers. The pass is jamming the prospective shooters each time. They haven't gotten a good one off yet so far.
Back off the boards, deep into the Bulldogs end. Just under a minute left on the power play. Second unit out now as Ruffalo chases it down. LaBeouf behind his own net. Picked up by Ruffalo. Ruffalo to O'Gara. O'Gara slides it back to Weberg. Back to O'Gara at the top. Shot and saved by Kastorf. Young looking for the rebound. Back down over to Malcolm. Malcolm to O'Gara. Regrouping at his own end behind the net. Skates it out to Ruffalo. Ruffalo shoots it in off the boards. Just under 30 seconds left on the power play. Ruffalo going into the corner hard. Back to Wilson. Wilson trying to skate it out as he cycles it back behind the net. Picked up by Higgs. Higgs through the neutral zone. Malcolm stops it on the ice Back to Wilson. Wilson trying to find Day on the boards as RPI is now even strength with the Bulldogs.
That's an icing there as Day just couldn't get his stick on that puck as Wilson tried to feed him there, moving up the boards accordingly. Bulldogs not going to get the chance to change here. Back onto the bench goes Ryan Obachowski and the rest of the Bulldogs who'd come over the boards there.
Day on the face-off for the Bulldogs, joined by Wilson and Balch. We've seen a lot of Wilson and Balch working together as line mates, very successful. Draw one back to Balin. Wilson with a block shot. Wilson and Balch going for the puck. Wilson diving to try and tip it over to Balch. Unsuccessful as it goes back down into the Bulldogs, and Obachowski picks it up. Saucer pass over to Balch, barely missing his hand. Picked back up by Obachowski over to Duick. Duick slides it up to Day on the boards. Day shooting it in deep. LaBeouf with the puck around the boards. Day shoots it back in just off the stick of Kastorf. Laliberte over to Haggerty coming through the neutral zone. Bourbonnais over to Agostino, playing him just on the face-off dot. Agostino throws the puck in front of Kastorf, hoping to maybe slide it in.
Well, I think Kenny Agostino looking just as much to slide that one in as to set up one of his teammates on the rebound there. He had Clinton Bourbonnais followed by Jesse Root coming in there looking to clean up the garbage in front of Kastorf's net. Either way, the net dislodged. Kenny Agostino discussing with the official whether he was pushed into the net by the RPI defender or whether his momentum just carried him into the net. It seems like the officials are going to say that Agostino's momentum carried him there, so the faceoff's going to come outside the RPI zone.
Root pushes the puck into RPI's end, picked up by Leonard, up to Bubella. Puck goes past Wittick, down to Fallon behind his own net. Fallon back behind him to Wittick. Picked up by Bubella, is not able to keep it in the Bulldogs' end. Agostino slides it cross ice to Wittick. That'll be an offsides call on the Bulldogs.
Just a little off there as Agostino and Root were getting a little too eager to jump into the zone as they sent that puck. Miller sent that one all the way to the far side for Mitch Wittick. The other two Bulldogs forwards there just couldn't wait and headed into the zone a little too early.
Cooper wins it back to Wittick. Wittick over to defensive partner Fallon, who rings it around the boards. Picked up by Cooper in the corner. Ruffalo looking for someone to pass to, finds Lagunier behind the net. Lagunier shoots it off the pad of Kastorf, looking for a rebound for one of his teammates. Puck back up to Ruffalo. Ruffalo to Lagunier, shot by Lagunier just over the corner of the net. Picked up again by Ruffalo. Cooper now with the puck up to Fallon. Fallon with a shot and saved by Kastorf.
Oh boy, and Ruffalo was right there waiting for the rebound. Now that one, had Kastorf allowed any kind of rebound there, Ruffalo would have had a great opportunity to bang that one in from just outside the crease. But fortunately for the RPI squad, Kastorf just gloved that one down, nothing doing rebound-wise. 17 shots now unofficially for Yale, really opening up that advantage, 17-11.
Puck back to Duick off the face-off over to Agostino. Agostino trying to get a shot off is blocked. Duick with the puck to Agostino on the blue line. Agostino with the shot off the skate of Root behind the net. Agostino coming out with possession. Miller with the shot and blocked by RPI. The puck in front of the net. Shot on net. Malcolm gloves it down. That was Travis Fulton.
Well, as reflected in the shot total, you really get the impression that Yale has carried most of this period so far. We're 6 minutes, just over 6 minutes in to this second period, and the majority of the time it feels Yale's kept the puck deep within RPI's zone. The shots indicate to that effect, 7-4 unofficially thus far for the Bulldogs in the second.
Wilson on the puck drop ties up Laliberte as O'Gara picks it up behind his own net. O'Gara over to Young. Young skating down the ice, finds Weberg on the cross-ice pass. Weberg dropping it for Wilson with a shot. Kasdorf saved with his shoulder pad. Batted down by Wilson on the sideboard. Shot off the boards up to Rajic as Young picks up the puck. That'll be a high sticking called on the Bulldogs.
Puck played with the high stick there, so that faceoff's going to come all the way down deep into the Yale zone to the left of senior netminder Jeff Malcolm.
Laliberte and Wilson facing off yet again in the Bulldogs' end. Wilson wins it over to Balch, who comes off the sideboard on that play, shot back in by RPI. Young over to O'Gara. O'Gara skating it up to Balch, picked up by Weberg off the boards. Weberg shoots it in deep. Bradley backhanding it up to his teammates as they come out of zone. Rajic intercepted by Fallon. Yet another interception by Fallon on the pass. Whittick gloves it down on the red line, shoots it back into RPI's end. Day on the forecheck, joined by Matt Beatty. RPI with the puck as Haggerty goes down. Bourbonnais trying to hold the blue line. Whittick steps up. Bourbonnais, puck now back to Haggerty, who flips it into the Bulldog zone. Fallon picks it up. Skating over the blue line, up to Bourbonnais, right by his own bench. Skating out of their own zone is Balin, intercepted by Cooper on that one. Whoa. Leonard regrouping in his own end. Puck back up to Miller. Oh, to Bela, shot and score for RPI.
So that's Zalewski there who gets that goal. That was a good string of passes there to find Zalewski in the slot to wrist that one. They took the puck, they took it wide to Jeff Malcolm's left and then back into the center. Zalewski there coming into the zone late, just rips it. Sounds like it went off that pipe to the left of Jeff Malcolm and then ricocheted in behind him to give RPI their first marker of the night. So it's 1-1 here. 12:03 to play in the second. And even though Yale's looked good this period, it's a whole new game here at Ingalls Rink.
Dewick over to Obukowski off the face-off at center ice. Ruffle of the hard hit. Cooper slides it across, looking for Lagunier in the slot. Puck picked up by Higgs through the neutral zone over to Lee. Lee behind the net, circling around the zone, looking for his point. Not able to hold the blue line. Intercepted by Agostino. Agostino shot and wide of the net, just off the glass. Miller goes down in RPI's zone. Higgs looking for his teammate Tenordo. As Higgs goes into the net, that'll be a penalty on the Bulldogs.
And it's going to be Root going off for interference there, it looks like. Is it Root or is it Agostino? One of them's going to go set. Oh, I lied. It's going to be Obukowski. Either way, interfering there is Tenordi as he came in on the backside, knocked him out as he slid into Jeff Malcolm's net. It's going to give RPI their fourth turn on the power play tonight, 0 for 3 thus far.
The duo of Balch and Wilson on the penalty kill. Draw one by RPI. Shot blocked by Wilson as he goes down on the ice. Young very aggressive as Tenardi gets a shot off. Kept in by Bradley, shoots it around the back of the zone. Zalewski behind the net. Back over to Bubela, up on the point, over to Leonard. Leonard looking for Tenardi, and shot and score for the Engineers.
That's a funny developing play there. Tenardi's the one who gets that goal with a good shot on a bouncing puck, to be honest. He just knocks it over Malcolm's glove side into the net. That play develops because the RPI Engineers missed the pass. The puck skipped over a stick there, the initial pass recipient in the slot, and just took a funky bounce right to Tenordi, who, skillful play there, able to get his stick on it and hit that moving puck, that knuckle puck everyone likes to talk about, and knock that in there. So RPI converts on the power play now. They're 1 for 4 on the evening.
Definitely one of those moments where Tenorti made his own luck. Puck back to Young, off the draw, up to Agostino. Agostino at the top of the zone, shot blocked by Laliberte. Laliberte coming through the neutral zone. Back to Balin. Balin shot blocked by Young. Agostino and Miller now coming 2-on-1. Hard forechecker over to Miller. Miller the move, backhands it. Saved by Kasdorf as Miller goes down.
And it looks like we're going to have a penalty call coming up here. As I see the arm raised, the arm outstretched of one of our officials for tonight's evening, and the RPI penalty box swings wide open.
Looked like Miller might have been able to get a better shot off on that one had he not been tripped up in front of the net.
Looks like Haggerty is going to sit 2 minutes there. He's discussing with linesman Philip Kitchen as he skates slowly over to the referee's circle. And back and forth we go. Yale now. Another opportunity on the power play. 0 for 4 tonight, but a chance here to draw back into this game. After 2 quick goals from RPI, just a minute and a half about separating those strikes there for the Engineers.
Draw one back to Weberg. Wittick on the point. We have a new power play line out for the Bulldogs. Wilson, Bourbonnais, and Weberg as head coach Keith Elaine shuffles up the lines. Get some variety in. Weberg gains the zone for the Bulldogs. Speedy on his feet. Wilson goes into the corner to help him out. Weberg and Wilson fighting it out with RPI's penalty killers. Puck squirts out to Bukowski. Bukowski fakes the shot, looking for Wittick, goes off the boards. LaBeouf in the corner with Weberg and Bourbonnais. Wilson comes out with possession to Bukowski, shot right into the pads of Kasdorf.
And again there, that pass just a little bit off. Obukowski couldn't one-time that shot. He was jammed. He wouldn't have been able to get a stick on it. Wouldn't have been able to get the blade on it. Good wood on that shot there. But instead, he had plenty of time to get a shot on net. But in that time, Kasdorf had the chance to react. If that's a one-timer, he might not have that same luxury.
Seems the Bulldogs have been a little slow in their reactions, especially on those one-timers in front of the net. Haven't been able to capitalize on those opportunities.
The timing's just been a little off on the one-timers.
Fallon banks off the boards to Agostino. Agostino turning away from pressure, gains the zone, slides it over to Root. Root seemingly trying to leave it for Miller, but is picked off by RPI and shot back down to Malcolm. 48 seconds left on the power play for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, signal's just getting crossed there.
Root over the blue line, taken out by Rajic. Shot off the glass. Yale's defenseman having a hard time holding the blue line on this man advantage.
Well, quick correction there. That was Milos Bubela getting credit for that goal there. Matt Tenorti picks up the primary assist. He was the one who deflected that puck over to Bubela. Bubela knocked it in over Malcolm's glove.
Miller trying to roll the puck past RPI up to Bourbonnais. Agostino now coming off the boards. It finds Young. Shot blocked by RPI. Off the boards to Bourbonnais. Time running out on the power play. Weberg now into the bench of the Bulldogs.
Well, 3 seconds left on this power play for Yale. You have to imagine they're not going to be able to knock one in here. 8:34 now remaining in the second period. It's really been an interesting 2 periods so far. First period, RPI really looked strong in those first couple of minutes, and Yale carried the last half of the period. Second period, Yale came out looking very good, controlling a lot of the possession. RPI instead has scored twice.
Puck deep into RPI's end off the face-off play by the Bulldogs. O'Gara, last man back, banks it off the boards up to Young. Young to Wilson. Wilson center ice over to Day. Day with a shot and saved by Kasdorf.
And Kasdorf is really solid, Adlon. Another opportunity there for the Bulldogs where he just allows absolutely no rebound. Impressive. The young freshman goaltender just denying any second chance opportunities to the Bulldogs. Kasdorf's the draft pick of the Winnipeg Jets. He's from Winnipeg, Manitoba. It'll be fantastic for the fans there. See him come represent the hometown team.
As a forward for the Bulldogs, I can only imagine how difficult it is to try and find that open net when you have a goalie such as Kastorf coming out on his angles, he just takes up everything. The Bulldogs aren't able to see that open net behind him. Fallon with the puck on the point. Shot and saved by Kastorf. I have a stick. Chipped out of the zone by RPI. Fallon with the puck off the boards to Wittick. Picked off by Bubella. Bubella can move around Balch as Balch loses his stick. Delayed penalty. RPI coming around. Shot on Malcolm. Puck line out. Cleared by Wittick.
And Balch is going to take the 2-minute minor there, I believe for tripping interference. Haven't seen the signal yet from the official. Either way, Balch there got his stick jammed in between the legs as the RPI forward skated in. He'll sit 2 minutes for tripping. He tried to let his stick go, say, oh, well, my stick got trapped. It's not my fault. The stick's going with him. The officials weren't buying it, and Balch quite frustrated there, sitting now 2 minutes in the box. RPI back on the power play, capitalized just a moment ago, 1 for 4 on the evening.
Always a tough call to make. As the player lifts up their hands saying, wasn't my fault. Miller on the face-off for the Bulldogs. Looks like we had a little conversation sent out, so Lagunier will now take the draw. One back by RPI to Leonard. Leonard slides it across to Bradley. Bradley back to Bella. Cross the blue line to Leonard. Leonard to Bradley. Shot by Bradley off the shin pad of Young as he shoots it out. Kastorf coming out of his net to collect the puck. Leonard with Bourbonnais hard on the forecheck. Young center ice stops the puck, shoots it back in. Great defensive play. Coming out from behind their own net is Bradley. Bradley up ice to his forward. Fallon chips it out of the zone for the Bulldogs.
Both teams take advantage of the dump in there to change troops.
Coming out from behind the net, Laliberte gaining the neutral zone. Backhands it over the head of Fallon. Haggerty and Lee trying to set up the power play for the Engineers. Puck back over to Laliberte. Top of the slot, Balin. Laliberte cycling at the top of the zone. Back over to Laliberte, looking for the backdoor Higgs. That one-timer goes wide into the corner.
And they had it too, he just couldn't convert.
Balin and Laliberte. Laliberte shoots it back into the corner. Puck intercepted by Day. Day trying to backhand it out. Laliberte uses his body to keep it in the zone. Off the boards, Haggerty gets hit by Day as the puck goes into the corner. Picked up again by Haggerty, cycles it back to his teammate, to Nordy, or Balin, excuse me. Malcolm comes out of his net on the save.
Ooh, that was a very good power play sequence there for RPI. Of course, they held those Yale penalty killers deep in their zone for quite some time. Tenorti there, he saw he had the opportunity to just skate that puck in and try and put it on net. Yale was looking to read the pass there, as they've been doing successfully all night. Balin, rather, coming on the far side, he just skated that puck all the way in and tried to knock it past Malcolm, but Malcolm quick on the draw. Good job to cover that one up.
O'Gara behind the net, rings it around to Agostino, who chips it out. 5 seconds left on the penalty kill. As Balch comes out of the box, Agostino coming around the back of the net, shoots it right into Kastorf. Balch getting in there, trying to find a rebound.
And again, no second chance opportunities from Kastorf. He's not leaving anything out there for the Yale forwards to try and knock home on second chance efforts.
We'll get fresh legs on the ice for both teams. Yale sending out a mix-up on the mix in the lines now as Miller centers Lagunier and Beatty. Bulldogs trying to get some more offensive opportunities. Owikowski's shot bounces off of Lagunier, just past the pipe. Leonard behind the boards. Up on the sideboards here as gets chipped out. Dewick trying to bat it down in the neutral zone, goes deep into his own end. Shot off the boards to Lagunier. Lagunier to Miller. Miller trying to get around Leonard by chipping off the glass. Hard hit on Beatty. Got two there from the Engineers. Miller and Beatty in the corner. It's being held against the boards. Shot by Lagunier and saved by Kastorf.
Kastorf is just a vacuum tonight. He has been holding on to everything. Nothing is just getting no rebounds even. It's remarkable. So now 4:41 to play here, second period. 24-17, the unofficial shot count, still in favor of Yale.
Bourbonnais with the face-off. Is joined by line mates Agostino and Day. Looks like Coach Keith Elaine is really mixing up the lines here in the second period.
Yeah, he's never shy to throw the line chart out the window and just scramble things up, try and find something new that works tonight.
Bourbonnais loses the face-off as Dolan picks it up behind the net. Bourbonnais in the corner. Gets hit by Laliberte. Dolan fighting hard with Agostino behind the net. Laliberte finds Haggerty in the middle of his own zone. Haggerty now over the red line, dumps it in. O'Gara goes down as he's hit. Day with another hard hit, come around the back and score for the Engineers off of a one-timer backdoor.
Wow, so you see there the Bulldogs perhaps letting their emotions get the best of them. O'Gara was wiped out there going in. Looked clean, looks like the skates just got tangled, whatnot. He's discussing it with the officials now, calling for a penalty. But O'Gara was wiped out, and the Bulldogs, instead of responding by picking up the RPI forwards coming into the zone, just tried to lay out the RPI engineer who put that hit on O'Gara, and that allowed RPI to get in some time and space and knock that one in up front.
Definitely a retaliation move rather than defense on that play. Miller for RPI coming into the zone. There'll be an offsides called on the Engineers.
So Laliberte there for RPI, picking up goal number 5 on the season for him, his 11th in his career with the Engineers. Brock Higgs, junior forward, picking up the assist there, his 7th on the season.
Draw one back to Leonard, shoots it over to Balin. Balin ringing it around the boards behind Malcolm's net. Fallon off the glass, finds Balch on the sideboard. Balch to Weberg in the middle. Weberg loses the puck. Leonard shoots it back up. Ubella now with the puck over the blue line off his skate. Shot just wide of Malcolm's right post. Whittick and Wilson in the corner, toughing it out for the puck. Balch joins in. He's taken out by O'Grady. Haven't seen much of him yet this game. Puck up to Leonard on the point, slides it over to Balin. Balin shot and saved by Malcolm off of that rebound of O'Grady's skate.
Balin, a good thing there. He just throws that puck on net, knowing that he's got O'Grady with the stick on the ice, the skates on the ice, just hoping something comes of it. And it almost did. O'Grady knocked that one just laid out there in front of Jeff Malcolm's crease. Bulldogs are fortunate, no RPI forward there on the far side to try and jab at that. Malcolm freely could cover that up, but smart play by Balin.
Sometimes you just got to throw it on net and hope and see what happens. The Bulldogs, wouldn't hurt the Bulldogs to try that on defense as their shots have been blocked. Just try and throw it down anywhere near the net. Might go off a skate, might go off a stick blade.
Absolutely, those blue-collar goals, they all count just the same, something Yale could perhaps look for here in the final minutes of the second period and the remainder of this game. Yeah, he seems to have some kind of disagreement with linesman Phil Kitchen. They've been going at it back and forth a couple times now.
Miller through the neutral zone, slides it up to Lagunier. Lagunier chips it over to Beatty. Obukowski pinching on defense, gets the puck to Miller, shot by Miller and save by Kastorf right into his glove.
I haven't been keeping count, Adlon, but that looks like 5-6 shots now the Bulldogs have just fired on Kastorf. Not easy shots either, by no means, that he's just held on to. He's given them nothing to work with beyond that first shot. You know, as we mentioned, with a guy as big and clearly as talented as he is, Yale's really need to generate some passing plays to get some space for forwards.
Obukowski throwing the puck into the corner. This will be a game where the Bulldogs have to work on hitting the mark when they shoot on net if they're going to go for the straight-up shot.
Well, absolutely. You look to generate some of those. That one-timer is a fantastic weapon, and that seems like something Yale just hasn't been able to connect on tonight. But in this kind of situation, when Kasdorf just seems to be gobbling everything up and holding on to it, and you really try and work him side to side and get those one-timers to make him move laterally and create some space in the net.
Miller wins it back to Lagunier, who whiffs on the shot. Fallon sliding it back to Miller, picked up by Laliberte. Laliberte to Haggerty. Haggerty trying to get a move around Wittig. Wittig will have none of that as he pokes it away. Coming back out from around the corner, Laliberte to Haggerty. Shot by Haggerty over the head of Malcolm. In the corner now is Fallon. Fallon looking over the boards to Leonard, to Laliberte. Poked away by Malcolm. Great play on that one. Back into the Bulldogs' end. Behind the net is Haggerty, sliding it to Dolan along the boards. Big hit by Beatty. He stops it with his skate, trying to get it out of his own end. Ends up going off of Fallon in the slot right in front of his own net. This game getting a little more aggressive as the second period winds down. Wittig off the boards, picked up by Balin. Balin shooting it cross ice into the far corner. Fallon up to Wittig. Wittig off the boards, picked up by Balin. The Engineers are just holding this defensive pair of Fallon and Wittig in their own end. Bourbonnais drops it back to Fallon. Fallon up to Day. Nice play. Finds Agostino. Agostino to Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais off his skate to Day. Shot off the pipe into the netting.
Yeah, it sounds like that one hit the base of the netting there, where the just where the base of the netting meets the lowest end of the goalpost on the outside of the net, and just took a funny bounce straight up into the air and into the netting.
Tough break for the Bulldogs here, not being able to put anything past Kasdorf. RPI up 3-1 with 1:20 left here to play at Ingalls in the second period.
Yeah, unofficially 15-11 the shots in this second period in favor of Yale. The big difference, though, is that 3 of RPI's shots have found the back of Yale's net, while none of Yale's 15 have found their way through Jason Kasdorf this period.
Puck goes back behind O'Gara, who looks surprised that it got past him. A little confusion here on the blue line as an offsides is called. We have a line of Bourbonnais, Agostino, and Day out on the ice. Another combo that head coach Keith Lane is trying out. O'Gara over to Young. Young up to Agostino, who tips it over to Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais gets around Zalewski. Over to O'Gara. Shot by O'Gara. Glove saved by Kasdorf.
And once again, Adlon, that pass just a little off there, so O'Gara couldn't get a one-timer on that. Perhaps that's one right there that he wants to corral and put a wrist shot on anyway. But either way, the pass was just a little behind him. And so it seems like Yale throughout the night has just been slightly out of sync with each other. They just haven't been able to get that final pass.
I can definitely see one-timers being a point of practice for the Bulldogs in the near future. Shot by Duick, saved by Kasdorf to Wilson. Wilson unable to control the puck as it chipped out of the zone. Duick to Obukowski. Obukowski to Wilson. Nice move behind his back. Off the skate of Cooper. RPI unable to get out of the zone. Weberg trying to find Wilson, barely missing his stick. In the corner now, Lee gets around Weberg. Lee trying to find Tenorti on the far side. Higgs just inside the blue line. Over to Lee in the slot to Tenorti. Up to Balin on the point. Balin to Lee. Duick check on Lee. Shot way over the head of Malcolm. Picked up by Obukowski. Obukowski tried to chip it out. Another shot on net for Malcolm as time runs down. Duick gets it out of the zone.
Well, Adlon, a real strong period there for RPI. They've come out with 3 goals picking up, starting with that power play marker, and they just didn't let up from there. Really pushing the pace, keeping the puck deep within the Yale zone, putting a lot of pressure on the Eli's and on Jeff Malcolm, and some fantastic passing plays from RPI found them space to knock home 3 goals that period. So we'll head into the second intermission here. RPI leading Yale 3-1 at the break. Folks, stay tuned for our second intermission report. And Adlon Adams will get the chance to talk to Daryl Jones, Yale alum, class of 1998, and head of the Yale Hockey Association. We'll take a quick break, but we'll be back in a few minutes. Stay tuned.
I'm Andrew Miller, number 17. Stay tuned for more Yale men's hockey on Yale All-Access.
Hello and welcome back to Ingalls Rink. This is Adlon Adams here with Yale All-Access. We are currently watching the Yale men's ice hockey team take on the RPI Engineers. I am here with Daryl Jones, class of '98, a former Yale men's hockey player. He was on the ECAC championship team in 1998. Thank you for joining us, Daryl.
Thanks for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about your time at Yale?
Absolutely. So I was class of '98, and you know, it's pretty interesting in terms of hockey. When I came my freshman year, we were literally one of the worst teams in the country, and then by the time I graduated, we had, I think, an extraordinary year. We won the Ivies, I think won the ECAC, and then made the NCAA tournament for the first time since like 1955 or something like that.
Wow.
So it's a huge kind of turnaround in Yale hockey, and we had some great players. A couple guys that went on to play in the NHL a little bit, so really had a lot of talent.
Yeah, definitely a great turnaround. Do you have a favorite hockey memory from Yale?
Yeah, I think there are a couple that stand out. The first one is my senior year. We won at Harvard, which was the first time Yale done that in like 19 years or something crazy. So we swept Harvard, which was a big deal. And then we played Harvard at home, and my mom came to the first game at Ingalls Rink that she'd ever seen me play here. And I think I was a defensive defenseman, but scored a goal and had a couple assists.
Nice.
And so it's pretty cool to do that in front of your mom. And I think Sports Illustrated was there that year because we were having such a good season. So it's kind of a special memory. And then obviously we won the ECAC regular season title up at RPI, which is obviously a big memory too.
Yeah, great win. Do you have a favorite non-hockey memory from your time at Yale?
I guess going to Toads doesn't count. I think just being at Yale in general is pretty extraordinary. I don't know if there's one memory that stands out, but obviously there's a camaraderie on the hockey team, but then just the extraordinary people that are associated with Yale and associated with the Yale community, and just kind of getting to know them over 4 years.
Yep, definitely an amazing experience to be able to go to school here.
Absolutely.
So as the president of the Yale Hockey Association, how often do you come back to Ingalls to watch the games? So
I actually live in New Haven and have season tickets, so I try to come fairly often. I probably come to 75% of the games. I've been on the board for the Hockey Association for a while, and to me it became president a year or so ago, and I think it's just a good way to give back. The Hockey Association raises a lot of money to support the men's and women's programs, and I think it's important to me and a lot of my teammates to try to contribute and give back to the program.
Yeah, I know they really appreciate that. So what are you currently doing?
So I actually started a company with a former teammate of mine, Keith McCullough, who is class of '99, and he and I have a economic research company that's based in New Haven, and actually Jesse Root and Josh Balch were two of our interns this summer, so we try to keep it in the Yale hockey family.
That's really cool. Get some interconnectivity going.
Absolutely.
So what do you think of the Bulldogs and how they're playing so far this season, and especially tonight?
I think it's been a very good start to the season, obviously, especially the road trip out to Colorado. I mean, I think when they beat Denver, Denver was number 2 in the country, and then Colorado College was top 20 team, and that's great to do on the road like that. They've had a couple games. I think the Clarkson game, which is a bit of a lapse, and then tonight, it doesn't seem like they've quite found their stride. I think as you and I were talking about, the big thing tonight is they're just not capitalizing on their chances. They're getting sort of in the slot or in the offensive zone, but they're not picking corners or whatever. They're hitting the goalie a lot, but as you said, the goalie's also 6'4", so RPI's goalie's doing a good job.
Yeah, definitely tough to get around him.
Yep.
So where do you think that the Yale men's ice hockey program is headed this year?
I think they're going to be competing for the top of the ECAC. I mean, they've had flashes of brilliance, and they've had a few letdowns, but I think when everybody's healthy and they're kind of rolling the three lines, they're hard to compete against, with just given their team speed and offensive ability.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining us, Daryl.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
And now we will look at the stats as we go into the third period. Stats are now shown on your screen. If you look, Yale has 26 shots on goal to RPI's 20. As for saves, Malcolm has 17, Kastorf with 25. Really a testament to his skill in the net as he blocks out various Bulldog shots on the face-offs. They're about even 23 each. Winning power plays, we've had 5 for each team, and RPI has capitalized on one of those power plays.
So you welcome me back live into our booth here above Ingalls Rink. One thing that we really saw as that second period went on is RPI, it seemed that they were playing much more confidently within the Yale zone, I felt, Adlon. They were moving the puck around very well. They were just passing well. Their 3 goals that they scored were all the results of good, clean passing plays. Their middle goal, rather, the goal scored by Milos Bubela off the feed from Tenorti. A bit of a mispass there, found its way to Bubela, but he still banged it home. Either way, the result of a good passing play, and sometimes when you're making those smart plays and you just miss one pass, and as in that case, it gets lucky and it finds its way to someone else. But regardless, they moved that puck around very well in Yale's zone. They generated those opportunities, and they earned all 3 of their goals. And Yale just doesn't feel to me has done that as well, at least in the latter half of that second period.
To me, I feel like the Bulldogs need to get their feet moving, especially off the puck. The puck carrier is having a tough time finding an outlet through the neutral zone. He's got his head up, but off the puck, movement off the puck is kind of rare right now for the Bulldogs. Max, going into the third period, what do you think Yale will be focusing on to get back into this game?
Well, one thing that we need to see for the Bulldogs to jump back in here is the return to the puck possession they had in the latter stages of the first period. They did a good job maintaining possession within RPI's zone and dominating just control of the puck, whatnot. But one thing I really want them to see them to do here, if they're going to get back in this game, is they need to start moving the puck laterally, doing a better job of moving Kasdorf side to side in the net. He's shown this Bulldogs team through 2 periods that he's not going to give them anything tonight. They're going to have to earn it if they're going to beat him. And as he's been really good on the rebounds thus far this evening, moving him side to side, generating some pressure, making him work in his crease will certainly go a long way to getting Yale back in here.
On the face-off for the Bulldogs, we have Miller accompanied by Day and Augustino, yet another line combination for the Bulldogs. Puck with a weird bounce on the face-off dot. Right outside the blue line, Day over to Agostino, hit by Leonard. Duke shoots the puck in off the elbow of O'Grady. Lead behind the net to Balin. Bulldogs really picking it up on the forecheck. Shot by Obukowski, blocked as Agostino goes down hard in front of Day with another shot blocked by Balin's stick. Puck right at the top of the crease. Duke trying to find Obukowski on a quick pass there. Didn't quite find his blade.
I think Obukowski could have held that puck in there if he skated a little more directly to it.
Leonard shoots the puck up to Higgs, who flips it in over the heads of the Bulldogs defenseman. Shot up the boards as Cooper gets shoved into his own bench. Laliberte back to LaBeouf. Puck up to O'Gara on the point. As Bourbonnais fights to keep it in. Picked up by Lagunier. Quick shot by Lagunier. Kasdorf even quicker on the save.
Absolutely not giving them anything right there. Kasdorf, that quick glove, just managed to snag that one out of midair. Well, Alan, let's look quickly at the out-of-town scoreboard. 2 other ECAC conference games going on tonight. Up in Hamden, Quinnipiac leads Princeton 2-1, and Union 3-2 leaders over Brown in Providence. Both of those games getting underway into the third period soon.
Weberg off the draw, comes around back of the net, challenged by LaBeouf. Young pinching on the far side on defense, tries to find Weberg. O'Gara coming down yet again off the point. Bulldogs very aggressive so far here. First couple minutes of play in the third period. In the corner, we've LaBeouf coming out with the puck. Bradley looking to get it out. Engineers looking a little frazzled. O'Gara shooting across ice. Picked up by LaBeouf off the boards, looking for Haggerty, and that'll be an icing called.
Well, Adlon, you mentioned that Yale forecheck looking very aggressive coming out here to start the third, and that's something they're also going to really need to do here. They're going to need to pin RPI in their zone. That's an obvious, but when they dump the puck in, they need to really make it challenging for the Engineers to get the puck out of their zone. They just want to hem them in there, make them work defensively.
With 3.33 goals per game average, the Bulldogs are ranked 10th in offense nationally. Pretty down here as they only have 1 goal so far this game. Puck shot out to Tenorti. Picked up on the side by Haggerty behind the net. Wittick pokes it off his stick. Beatty trying to gain possession. Shot on Malcolm. Score for the Engineers right in front of the net.
And Haggerty looks just knocked that one in as that puck bouncing around, laying in front of Jeff Malcolm's cage. Rather, Mark Miller leading them through the handshake line there. I thought Haggerty was the one who banged that one in. We'll have to wait for the official confirmation here. A lot of sticks going on, or a lot of sticks trying to knock that puck there in front of Yale's net. But either way, a 4th goal on the evening for RPI.
Another tough break for the Bulldogs. The lapse in defense right in front of Malcolm. Cannot happen this late in the game.
Well, it's Miller on the goal there as he did lead the team to the handshake line. Assist from Haggerty. Couldn't catch who picked up the secondary assist on that one.
Puck picked up by Agostino on the side. Duick on the point, shot just off the stick of Kastorf. Duick coming down off the point as he goes down. Agostino coming down with him. Leonard comes out, gets the puck up to Rajic. Rajic passes it back off the boards in front of the net. Score for the Engineers. Rajic just finds the puck on his backhand.
Well, that's a real talented play there from Rajic. He just found that puck in front of the net, and he spun around and just knocked that one in on the backhand. That's a fantastic show of just taking advantage of perhaps not the best situation there. He's just in front of the net. He finds the puck on his forehand, moving away from the net, just spins and flings it in on the backhand. Fantastic skill there.
Yet another example of how RPI is just throwing anything they can on net, whether or not they think it's going to go in, and it has been going in.
Well, that was just a tremendous play there from Rajic, an individual effort.
Wilson with the puck, trying to get something going for the Bulldogs in the corner. Some stick work, finds Duick. Duick shoots it back in to Weberg. Weberg is pinned to the boards by Bradley. Puck comes over to Duick, trying to find Obukowski on the blue line as it gets past Obukowski. Lee now with the puck, shot, rebound by Malcolm. Duick there to pick it up and protect his goalie. Yale getting fresh legs on the ice as RPI tries to get a counterattack. O'Gara shooting it through the neutral zone. That will be an icing.
All the way down to the back going to RPI's, and it looks like we're going to see a goaltending change here, as I believe that's freshman Connor Wilson skating out to replace Jeff Malcolm. Connor Wilson, he'll be seeing his first playing time this year in 2 games last year as a freshman. Sophomore Connor Wilson, excuse me. Thinking back to last year, 2 games as a freshman last year, posted an .818 save percentage, .312 goals against in very limited playing time. Can't read too much into those statistics there.
As Keith Elaine likes to talk about, he always has 3 goalies on call, and he's not afraid to throw any of them in there, so this will be a good test for Connor Wilson to get his legs under him here this season. Lagunier, backhand save by Kastorf as he just reaches out and grabs that one out of the air.
So there's a quick update on those goals here just to make sure got everything clear. This period, Mark Miller getting the goal for RPI, 2:11 in. 41 seconds later, Johnny Rajic adding the tally to make it 5-1. The other goal scorers tonight for RPI, Mike Zaleski, Milos Bubella, and Jacob Laliberte.
Draw one by Bourbonnais to Cooper. Gloved down as Lagunier takes out an RPI player. Puck shot in by Fallon on net. Kastorf coming way out of his net to grab that one. He is not letting anything by him.
Take no chances if you're Kastorf. He's been doing a good job all night. I see no reason for him to change the game plan. Now Yale's put 27 shots on net. Kastorf saved 26 of them. Been perfect in the second period and here early on in the third.
The unofficial shot count with Yale having 27, RPI with 24 does not reflect the state of this game. RPI just being able to capitalize more than the Bulldogs when it comes down to it.
Absolutely. Both teams have had a decent number of chances. The Bulldogs, as you mentioned, just haven't been able to capitalize. But I don't want to take anything away from this RPI squad. They came out to battle here, not intimidated at all by the environment within Ingalls Rink or this nationally ranked Yale squad. They've been fantastic tonight.
Miller on the face-off for the Bulldogs. Miller wins it back, goes between his defense as Fallon comes back into his own end. Challenge hard by Bubella. Miller with the puck throws it into the slot. Fallon loses it. Another shot right off the crossbar over the glove of Wilson.
And the Engineers are just buzzing around Connor Wilson's net now. They are not content to sit back and defend this lead. They're going for gold here at Ingalls Rink.
Bulldogs will get a wholesale change. Wilson, Weberg, and Balch going back to the original line he's begun with at the beginning of this game. Bradley off the face-off, shoots it back to Lee. Lee with a cycle to O'Grady. So the Engineers are also switching up their lines. Wilson banks it off the glass, trying to find Weberg, but Bradley is there to intercept it. Balch now over the blue line, shoots it in to the corner. Weberg on the forecheck, staying strong on his stick. Bradley looking a little peeved. Not quite sure what happened there. There'll be a face-off as RPI is able to get a line change. Just under 15 minutes left to play in the game at Ingalls. Yale will also decide to get a line change. Cooper, Bourbonnais, and Lagunier. Bourbonnais on the face-off, leaves it for Lagunier. Lagunier coming around the back of the net, trying to get it in front, goes off the skate of Higgs in the slot. Cooper back behind the net, picked up by LaBeouf. Nice forecheck by Bourbonnais, chipped out of the Engineer zone. There'll be an offsides called on RPI.
Cooper did a good job just to knock that one across the blue line there, forcing the Engineers into the offside position as that puck was carried back in. They'll get a whistle to blow that rush in dead there and prevent another RPI opportunity. Bulldogs taking a chance here to shift lines again and keep mixing things up. Now you've got Day out there with Miller and Agostino, the 17, 18, 19 line for the Bulldogs.
Fulton and Day on the sideboard. Rajic comes out with the puck over to Fulton on the sideboard. Fulton trying to find his defenseman, Karate. Karate is not yet in the offensive zone. Agostino with the puck coming across the top of the circle. Puck intercepted by Dolan. Back behind the net, Fallon picks it up behind Wilson. Finds Agostino center ice, just goes right off his stick to Balin. With it coming off the bench with an aggressive hit. Puck now picked up, looking for a shot, and save by Wilson.
Well, that's a great save by Wilson right there, but I want to go back to what Balin did to really, or Marty O'Grady rather there for the Engineers to really just open that play. He just carried the puck right through 3 Yale defenders. The Bulldogs really need to put some sticks, pressure, bodies, whatever on the Engineers. They cannot just let them carry the puck into their zone like that uncontested.
Seems RPI has been able to crack Yale's defense. So far before this game, Yale only had a goals against average of 2.67. Malin gets it out of his own zone, past Wilson, Obukowski over to Duick. Duick trying to find someone in the neutral zone. No one is there to pick up the pass. Bulldogs unable to connect.
It just seems this Yale squad's been a little out of sync the whole night. Nothing just is clicking for this team like it was on their road trip out west. Even against Brown a weekend ago, not a great effort the entire game. Great effort perhaps, but it was just not always the prettiest hockey out there.
Draw one by RPI. Picked up by Laliberte. Behind the net, goes through the slot uncontested as Bradley shoots it back in. Glove down by Duick. Quite some good reflexes there on that one. Duick coming over the red line. Obukowski following the play up, gets it over the blue and shot and save right into the glove of Kastorf.
Well, if you're Coach Lane here for the Bulldogs, you have to take advantage of this opportunity to really give some of your freshmen who haven't seen that much time some more time on the ice. Perhaps we'll see more of Beatty, whatnot during this time period. But you also have a chance to mix up lines, find new pairings perhaps that might work better. Of course, this team's got a chance to rebound tomorrow night. And tonight's game's not yet over, but another chance tomorrow night. And you have a whole season to look forward to here, so you might as well take advantage of this opportunity.
Puck back into the Bulldogs end as Cooper drops it back to Young off the boards. Young whiffs on the clear. Fulton picks up into the slot shot and score off of the crossbar. The tough one there for Wilson as he's an RPI player wide open in front of the net.
Yeah, that's Ryan Haggerty there. Just absolutely nothing Connor Wilson could do there. Puck picked up by Fulton, I believe, behind Connor Wilson's net. He just throws it to the front, something we've talked about tonight about how RPI has really done well with that look. And Haggerty there just bangs it upstairs. Nothing Wilson could do. It's 6-1 RPI here.
Puck back into RPI's end. Team captain Andrew Miller picking it up over to Agostino. Wrapped around the boards. Fallon pinching or to hold the blue line. Miller with a hard hit on Fulton. Miller for the Engineers now coming into the zone. Picked up by Yale's Miller over the blue line. Sideboards finds Day. Day turns around trying to get a shot off as is blocked by the body of Tenorti. Tenorti coming back around over the red line. Confusion is where the puck is dumped back behind Wilson. Whittick shoots it into his own bench.
Everything just a little bit off for the Bulldogs tonight, not even able to clear the puck successfully out of their zone. It just looks like tonight's game has been a struggle all around for the team. It's tough to see too, especially since they've been playing so well as of late.
Wilson on the draw on his own end. One over to Beatty on the left wing. Beatty over to Weberg. Weberg with a shot right off the pad of Castor. Castor just beat a brick wall here tonight at Ingalls. Wilson gloves it down, coming through the face-off circle. Weberg in front of the net. Picked up by Leonard. Shot over Dewick. Obakowski poking it away from RPI. Weberg now with the puck at center ice. Obakowski following the play. Gets it deep into RPI's end. Cooper on the forecheck is pushed off the puck by Bradley. Bourbonnais trying to get a hard hit on LeBuff. Cooper wide of the net, in front of the net, through the crease by Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais again, top of the circle, shot, and Cooper tries to get a screen. Kastorf's able to see it all the way. Hard hit by Lagunier. Bourbonnais backhands it over to O'Gara. Risky play, especially with so many forecheckers. Off the boards, up to Lagunier. Lagunier and Bourbonnais back deep into the corner. RPI now coming out of their end, intercepted by Young in front of the net. 3 Yale players on Kastorf uncontested.
Well, a good job by Young to jump in there. We're getting some action after the play. Little extracurricular activities there between Young and Milos Bubella. Either way, good job by Young to jump into that play, reading it. Something Yale was doing much better early on in the game than they have been recently, anticipating passes, whatnot. But Kastorf just on top of his game, sliding out to cover that puck, not giving Yale any opportunities.
I cannot imagine how frustrating it must be for the Yale players as they try and get something past Kastorf. Just takes up so much of the net. Miller on the face-off. Having another conversation with the referee. Back to Agostino with a quick shot blocked off a shin pad in front of the net. Yale player goes down hard in the corner. That's Agostino just face down into the ice.
Yeah, Agostino looked to put a hard check there on Brock Higgs into the boards in front of the Yale Precision Marching Band, and Higgs just kind of shrugged him off and sent Agostino down into the boards, using his momentum to just knock him down.
Miller with Day and Balch now. Another line for the Bulldogs. won by Laliberte. Miller goes down, but hit by RPI. Haggerty coming through the neutral zone, stopped by Fallon. Fallon backhands it to Miller. Miller loses it, ends up saving it on the blue line. Coming out is Dolan now with the puck behind his own net. Dolan over to Girardi. Girardi shoots it off the glass. Obukowski tries to bat down. That'll be an icing back into RPI's end.
Well, fans here at Yale All-Access, we look forward to, over the next couple of games, rolling out an instant replay system courtesy of a generous donation from Steve Kushner, class of 1971, in honor of former Yale women's ice hockey player Mandy Schwartz.
Wilson on the faceoff wins it forward to himself. Beatty in the corner. Wilson challenged by Laliberte as Obukowski comes off the point. Shot back into the zone by Wilson. Picked up by Dolan. Dolan trying to get it off the boards. Goes through the neutral zone. Dewick tips it over to Obukowski. Obukowski up to Beatty as the icing is called off. Beatty and Dolan behind the net, joined by Balin. Wilson with some handiwork in the corner over to Obukowski. Obukowski to Dewick. Dewick shot on net. Goes just wide. Back into the neutral zone. Beatty over to Dewick. Dewick up to Weberg. He is taken out by Balin. Cycled back to Dolan. Brings it around the boards, trying to find Fulton. O'Gara reading the play, steps up. Lagunier back to O'Gara. O'Gara looking for Bourbonnais and shot out of the zone by Balin. Young up to Lagunier. Lagunier over the blue line. Cooper tries to find Bourbonnais. Stick just past him. O'Gara holding the zone. Gloved on by Lagunier. Young off the stick of Long as we have an offensive rush by Tenorti. Shot by Tenorti, saved by Wilson. Wide rebound. Another shot by RPI. Zalewski with the puck there. Coming out from behind his own net. Leonard now pinching as Young picks it up in the corner. Leonard gloves it down, looking for a shot or a pass. Young goes off the boards, looking for Cooper. Back behind Wilson as O'Gara tries to get his own, picked up by Lee. Lee shot off the skate of O'Gara. That one like painful, hit his ankle. Looks like hit him in between his shin pad and his skate. Puck now back into the corner. Day rings it over to Fallon. Fallon leaves it for Day. Day goes down hard. Back into Yale's end. Yale struggling to get anything into the neutral zone. Miller at center ice leaves it for Agostino. Agostino to Miller. Miller looking for Day. RPI now with the puck. Into the corner goes Wittick. He's able to get it over to Fallon. Fallon to Weberg coming off the bench. Weberg through the neutral zone. Wittick holds the blue line as Weberg goes into the boards. Dolan trying to get it out. Wittick back to Beatty. Beatty loses it in the neutral zone to Rajic. Rajic coming down the near side, slides it across the slot, dangerously close to Wilson. Duke now behind the net, comes out over to Wilson. Wilson through the neutral zone, joined by Weber. Shot by Wilson, save by Kastorf. LaBeouf now with the puck in the corner, challenged by Cooper as there's about 6 minutes left to play in the game.
And Cooper's going to sit 2 minutes for a trip here for taking down LaBeouf. LaBeouf had won the puck away from him just here on the near board, tried to skate out with it. Cooper just got his stick there under LaBeouf's knees and pulled him out from under him. So RPI is going to get their 6-man advantage here tonight. They're 1 for 5 thus far on the evening. 6:16 to play here in the third period. Well, folks, we hope you join us for our coverage of Yale men's ice hockey as they take on Union tomorrow night here at Ingalls Rink. Coverage of the 7 p.m. game starts around 6:50 p.m.
Leonard loses it on the blue line as Bulldogs are able to get it out. On the penalty kill, we have Balch and Bourbonnais. Main zone is Lee Obakowski with a hard hit, picked up by Balin. Balin over to defensive partner Leonard. Leonard up to Tenorti. Tenorti rings it into the corner. Can find one of his teammates. Obakowski is there to stop it. Balin in the slot is Tenorti, back to Leonard, over to Balin. Balin into the corner. And is shot out by Yale. Kastorf steps out to settle the puck for Balin. Now have Day and Wilson out on the penalty kill. Looks like the coach is trying to get some new players in on the penalty kill, get some experience in. Picked up by Wilson. Comes out of his own end, slides it over to Day. Balin over to Bradley. Bradley skating through the neutral zone, off the boards to Haggerty. O'Gara chases it down, and that will be an icing.
Well, taking an update of those out-of-town scoreboards, midway through the third, Quinnipiac still 2-1 leaders over Princeton. They're trying to stay perfect in the ECAC thus far. Union 3-2 leading Brown, about 9 minutes to play there. You'll see the Dutchman here at Ingalls Rink tomorrow night on Yale All-Access.
Draw one by Miller, back to Lagunier. Lagunier to Fallon. Fallon shot and saved by Kastorf. And RPI will get it out of their own end. Higgs to Laliberte. 37 seconds left to kill on the penalty. That will be an offsides called on the Engineers. Bulldogs doing a nice job so far on this penalty kill of keeping it away from Wilson's net. RPI not being able to set anything substantial up in the Bulldogs' end. Wilson on the draw for the Bulldogs, joined now by Balch at the top of the box. LaBeouf regrouping in his own end over to defensive partner Bradley. Bradley cross ice pass to Haggerty as he comes down the far side, taken out by Whittick. Whittick picks up the puck at the corner and dishes it out of his own end. 14 seconds left to kill on the penalty. Bradley coming out, pass over to Zalewski. Bourbonnais picks up the puck deep into the Engineers' end as the Bulldogs are now even strength. Okowski holds the blue line, tries to hold the blue line, goes off the skid of Babula, shot and saved by Wilson. Rebound goes off of Babula as Dewick. There's a delayed penalty. He should be here on the
and there may be more than one as things are
as
really getting messy in the corner now.
Referee's looking a little hesitant to break this one up.
They have to. They can't fight in college hockey. So we'll be seeing, we'll be interested to see who and how many players are sent to the penalty box here. The initial call was going to be Colin Dewick. He was going to get called for pulling down an RPI forward behind Connor Wilson's net as both penalty boxes swing wide open. We have Dewick heading off. That was the initial call. Bubella is sitting too. The RPI box is closing, and they might be just those two in the sin bin, though I have to imagine there are going to be a couple more guys making the trip over there.
Haven't really seen much of that, any like punches or elbows thrown from the Yale team so far this season. That was a little abnormal there in the corner.
Well, this game hasn't been too chippy, too testy so far, but it really just kind of boiled over here in the past couple of minutes as two rough hits by Yale players on RPI forwards right in front of the RPI fan section. A tremendous sized group of RPI fans out here at Ingalls for tonight's game. So far, only penalty on the scoreboard is Colin Dewick. 2 minutes up there, but of course, Bubella is in the box for RPI, so we're going to have to wait here, and when we get the official call from the referees, we will let you know who will be sitting. Now, we've got about 3 minutes and 58 seconds here in the third period. Fans, we'd like to invite you to watch our coverage here on Yale All-Access throughout the rest of the season. Tomorrow night, the Bulldogs will battle the Union Dutchman. Coverage here from Ingalls Rink starting about 6:50 p.m. And on Tuesday night, the Massachusetts Minutemen will travel down to Ingalls Rink to take on the Yale Bulldogs. As we've got several players now skating over to the penalty box. Dewick was joined in the Yale box by, I believe, Matthew Beattie. And it seems that those will be the only guys sitting. So from all of that, Yale will be shorthanded for 2 minutes.
Shot deep into RPI zone by Young off the faceoff. Wilson picks off the puck over to Balch in front of the net. Nice give and go on that play. Haggerty comes over the blue line on the power play for RPI. Shot by Bradley goes between the feet of Wilson, just wide of the net. On the point now is Leonard, who shoots it into the corner. Picked up by Haggerty in front of the net to Laliberte. Goes just off his stick. Bradley with the puck. Back to Haggerty. Haggerty to Laliberte on the sideboard. Bradley to Leonard. Bradley again with the puck. Shot and saved by Wilson as Balch shoots it out of his own end.
Well, folks, the official calls there on the penalties. Milos Bubela for RPI, 2 minutes for roughing. Colin Dewick, 2 minutes for roughing and 2 for holding. Beattie serving the extra penalty.
And puck now LaBouffe over to Lee to O'Grady. Lee on the far side tries to get it in front of the net. Yale's defense doing a nice job of keeping it away from Wilson's crease. In the corner is Obukowski playing close on defense. Coming out, shot and saved by Wilson. Another shot. The rebound is right in front of the net. Whittick is able to get it out. About 20 seconds left to kill for the Bulldogs. RPI coming out of their own end. Lee over to Rajic. Rajic getting around Fallon on Wilson. Rajic goes down as the penalty winds down for the Bulldogs. LaBeouf with the puck in his own end. Over to Dolan. Dolan back to LaBeouf. Less than 2 minutes left to play here at Ingalls. O'Gara gets it over to Miller. Miller coming in now on Kasdorf. Backhands it right into Kasdorf.
Well, Jason Kasdorf, freshman goaltender from Winnipeg, Manitoba, has to be the star of the night for the RPI Engineers. He's been tremendous now. 33 saves on 34 shots faced. The Bulldogs jumped ahead to a 1-0 lead, and they had several opportunities to add to that lead early on and into the second period. But Kasdorf has held firm, held Yale just to 1 on the score sheet, and his offense has taken care of the rest. 6 different Engineers, each responsible for 1 goal.
Miller to Whittick on the point, shot by Obukowski off the stick of Kasdorf. There'll be a delayed penalty called in the corner.
And a holding call there on Luke Karate, excuse me. He will skate off, so Yale's going to get a chance to close out tonight's game on the penalty, or the power play, excuse me. 1:26 remaining here in the third period from David S. Ingalls Rink. Bulldogs, unless they score, will spend the rest of today's game with the man advantage.
Bourbonnais on the face-off for the Bulldogs, joined by Miller and Lagunier. Puck back to Fallon on the blue line, over to Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais off the boards to Lagunier, picked up by LaBeouf and shot down into the Bulldogs' end. Wilson comes out of his net to stop it. Fallon on the glass, trying to find Miller. Very tough penalty kill by RPI. So Grady's very aggressive. Fallon now gets the puck for the Bulldogs up to Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais cross ice to Miller. Miller drops it for Lagunier. Lagunier in for a backhand. Unable to hold on to that puck. There'll be a delayed penalty. Bourbonnais with the puck to Agostino. Agostino back to Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais with a shot over the net.
Well, Antoine Lagunier was hauled down there, so it's going to be a hooking call coming up against the Engineers. Bo Dolan, junior defenseman from St. Paul, Minnesota. He'll sit there and join Luke Karate in the penalty box. So Yale's going to have a 5-on-3 chance here now. 41.9 seconds left. Certainly not enough time remaining in today's game to make up the difference, but perhaps a chance to get some momentum going forward for tomorrow.
Young and O'Gara working with the puck at the top of the zone. Young with a shot and save by Kastorf. Young looks like he's trying to motion to his forwards to get moving around the front of the net.
Well, you saw that shot there from Young. It just went straight in on Kastorf. No Yale players trying to set up his screens. No Yale players trying to get a stick on that shot to redirect it.
Day on the faceoff for the Bulldogs, wins it back to Young. Young over to O'Gara. O'Gara looking for Day in the corner. Leonard putting up a tough fight in the corner. Puck back to O'Gara. O'Gara to Young. Bulldogs working to get something going on the 5-on-3. Puck back to Young. Shot off the back of Wilson as it squirts out. Bulldogs tight in on the net there as the time runs down here at Ingalls. Tough loss for the Bulldogs, 6-1 against the RPI Engineers.
Absolutely, Adlon. You know, it's a long season, and not every night in the year is everything going to work just as you plan it to. And tonight was just one of those days where everything didn't come out working for the Bulldogs team. But at the same time, you know, this really speaks to the parity within the ECAC. I discussed that with Steve Kahn during the first intermission. A team like RPI, despite coming in here 0-5-1 in conference play, can show up and dominate. It's going to be a tough league, tough sledding for the Bulldogs for the rest of this season, and it's going to be tremendous from a fan's perspective that every single night in ECAC play, you're going to come out and see competitive games. Well, folks, we encourage you to join us tomorrow night as we bring you coverage here on Yale All-Access as the Bulldogs take on the Union Dutchmen, who are on the verge of victory up in Providence, Rhode Island. We'll see you tomorrow night, folks.